Welcome to this edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We're happy to have you with us, and we invite you to come along on this monstrous adventure. As you can see, I'm not alone. Someone is with me. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, and this creature and I are your hosts today for this edition. We're talking about government. Government. Has it gotten too big? In my estimation, yes, it has. And you might ask, why do you ask that question? Well, I ask it because of whether or not it's gotten too big so that it does not even recognize the people that it's supposed to be serving, namely us. If you think about where you are right now, your city, and think about how many governmental muckety-mucks there are within that, and then you begin to multiply that by every other city within your state. That's a lot of politicians. Then you add that to every state in the union. Every 50 or 57 states, according to old bastard, who doesn't know how many states there are in the union. That's a lot of politicians. Then we got to go now federal. There's the president, there's the vice president, there's the Speaker of the House, there is the Attorney General, there's the Secretary of State, Senate, House, and all of those Supreme Court justices. Add those to the already millions of politicians from every city, every state in the United States. That's one hell of a lot of politicians, a lot of political muckety-mucks. Now, you think about what they do. They sit up with their big feet on their big desks and they make decisions and policies and laws and regulations and rules that have basically nothing to do with the people that they're supposed to be governing over. Oh, now they can make big decisions when it comes to putting their hands in your pocket, coming up with little creepy laws that may or may not be good for you. They can do that with great specificity. But when it comes to doing things that help people, they're almost non-existent. For instance, let's take let's just say the 3 or 4 biggest things that we've had in the news of late. One being, and I'll go back a bit, the XL Pipeline could have been good for America, creating jobs, helping us to maintain oil so that we don't have to look to the Saudis and the Middle East to get our oil. Could have done a lot of good things. Oh bastard. Now, was that something that benefited him, or was that something that benefited the people? No, it benefited him because he's trying to beat on the tom-toms for climate change. And so this puts out a message to the world that, as he would say, we're leading by example. We had this multi-billion-dollar oil deal that could come our way, but we turned it down because we're so concerned with climate change. Self-serving bastards, all of them. Well, I won't be that presumptuous. A vast majority of them. Some of them may be in there for a little good. Now, this TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, that's been in the news a lot. Is that going to help American people? No, he's trying to snuzzle up and play footsie and, handsies under the table with all these Asian countries who are going to benefit from this, and it's going to hurt us. They don't think about us. They don't care about us. Now, this Iran deal that he brokered, him and Slithery Clinton and John Scary and others, is that going to help us? We don't get a dime out of it. We don't get anything. We didn't even get prisoners of war out of it. They get everything. They get airplanes, the latest planes we have, the F-35s, F-22s, naval things, ships, and they get all kinds of other types of armament. And the big deal is, they even get a chance to make a bomb if they want to, because You know, can you trust them? No, they say they're not. Well, they shipped out supposedly 25,000 pounds of radioactive materials that could be used to make nuclear weapon. But knowing them, they probably had 100,000 pounds coming in while we were looking at the ship going out. Can these people be trusted? Time and time again, history dictates you can't trust them. They get this big deal. Latest thing to have happened, a couple of our little lesser ships with Navy personnel aboard kind of allegedly sauntered into their water space. Instead of saying, hey, you guys, you're kind of over here on our stuff a little bit, maybe you need to go back over there, which probably any other country would have done, or anyone with sense. No, they send out their big guys to come, hey, you're on our land, get on your knees and get your hands behind your head. And they're taking pictures and showing the world that they've got America on its knees. And yet, what is old bastard going to do in the not too distant future? He's going to thank them for it by sending them $150 billion. Is that for American people? No. How is that going to benefit us? To make some sleazy jackass deal with some foreigners that harbor and produce terrorists? How does that help American people? No way. No way. And the latest is accepting these terrorists and Syrians and Iranians and things over here under the guise of refugees. How does that help American people? What benefit is it to us to have these foreigners in our country sponging off of us? Because they're not coming over here with anything but the funky clothes they have on their backs and maybe a little bag of mementos and things. Or if they're terrorists, a bag of bombs to kill us with. So how, in common judgment, does that benefit American people? And who has made those decisions? Government. Governmental muckety-mucks, the president on down, making these decisions that bear us no good deed. None. You look at the debt that we're in, $20 trillion. How did it get that way? By fighting wars that somebody else should have been taking care of. By accepting in just a deluge of foreigners who cannot take care of themselves. And therefore we have to take care of it. Some of them, but that because they know they're in a country that has a better medical situation than they came from, if they stub their toe, they're off to the hospital. A bunch of hypochondriacs. And who picks up that tab? We do, the American people. So get this. We got this government that's supposed to govern us, to be our custodial keepers, to help us, but they don't check with us for anything. They make decisions that make our lives a living hell. Not good. And we look to these people. We look to these potential people that will get in there and do the same damn thing over and over again. Has government gotten too big? Yes. They've gotten so big that they don't care. They don't care about us. They don't care about what we have to go through. Look at the president, for instance. This character is getting big bucks to be the president. Well, some might argue, well, Phil, he has a big job to do. He has this to do. He has that to do. It's a job he fought for to get. He lied and cheated and did whatever he could do to get it. So obviously he wanted it. Let's look at things. Why do we work? Well, we work so that we can have a nice house or, some kind of housing to live in. We work so that we'll have transportation, whether it be a private automobile or some form of public transportation to get around, to take care of business, to take care of our families. We work to put food on the table. If we don't, we're going to go hungry. We work because we need insurance, health insurance, to take care of ourselves when we get sick. We work so that the other things that we may need, we're able to pay for. You get to be president of the United States, you live in the White House. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay house payments. That place is built specifically for the position that you hold. To eat, you don't have to go out and buy groceries. That's provided for you. Transportation, this guy has a big bulletproof, bomb-proof limousine to ride in. If I'm not mistaken, I think they refer to it as the mule. He has big old jet, 2 of them. Air Force One. You know, he has a helicopter to take him. Helicopter One, Air Force One, or whatever, Naval One. He doesn't have to worry about anything. So why would he need these exorbitant fees that he get, or stipends that he receives when he's in the White House? And when a president leaves the White House, they're still sucking up money like a vacuum. Secret Service protects them still. You know, I figured this way. If you're a presidential bastard and you've been in there screwing the people all these years and they haven't killed you, then when you get your scroungy butt out of office, why would they want to kill you then? You know, so I mean, all of this money is just going out, going out, going out. The IRS part of the government, what is its function? Well, it's there to extract taxes and what have you from people who work. Internal Revenue Service, they, take in money from income. Well, with the income, with the job market being the way it is and people out of work, not as many people working as say they were back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and 70s and 80s. Is this a function of government or a branch of government that's really needed? Get rid of them. If people aren't working, then you can't tax them. Then, your revenue is down. If you look at the tundra, it's got a lot of scaffolding around it because they're refurbishing it, they're repairing it. And it's supposed to be done by 2017. They say at the time the new president is inaugurated, it's supposed to be ready. Well, they need scaffolding all around the government to tear it down, reshape it, reform it. They're always talking about reform. They need to start with the government. It's too big. In fact, it's a monster. And it's gobbling up everything in its path. State government, city government, even it's too big. There are many things that need to be done that aren't done. Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of people that rent apartments. Some of these places that people rent are dumps. They are nothing but tenements. And they actually have foreigners that have come over here and bought property and then tell American people what they can and cannot do within it. And they're not even up to code. A lot of these people live in apartments that don't have heat. I know, I've got friends that tell me, we don't even have any heat in our apartment. We have to turn on the stove or the oven to get some heat, or buy a little portable heater. But yet, these same landlords will go to the housing authority, which is also part of the government, and lie to get those certificates of rentability. So if they got, 100-unit apartment, they have to get 100 rentability certificates that give them carte blanche to rent apartments. But if you have no heat in that apartment, or if it is structurally unsafe, then you are defrauding the government. You are renting those units illegally. And for regular single dwelling units, houses and stuff, there's lots of stuff that's going on there too. And nobody checks anybody's hand. And a lot of people get hurt, even die from stuff like this. Where is the government when it comes to the people? It's supposed to be by the people, for the people, and of the people. It's quite the reverse. It's by, for, and of the politicians. They're in there scooping up money, making, as I said before, these decisions that have nothing to do with what we need. Most of these governmental muckety-mucks, they go into these offices filthy rich. How can they empathize, sympathize with what we are going through? They can't even fathom it. Some of what they do daily, like going to lunch, for instance, they can go to lunch and spend upwards of $10,000 just for lunch. And some of the average Social Security recipients, they get that a year. Some a little more, some a little less. So, I mean, if you can go out there and just blow $10,000 for lunch, how can you sympathize with somebody that's homeless? And when I speak of homeless people, I don't say transients that are just out there because of drugs or because of alcohol or because of insanity or what have you. I'm talking about everyday people that work their proverbial behinds off at jobs, but cannot afford these expensive rents or house payments. So they're living with friends, they're living with family, they're living out of some kind of a vehicle. But they're out there batting it every day. But because they don't have a permanent address, they're homeless. And I find it interesting that this government that is too big can get up there and talk about what they're doing in the way of the State of the Union, and talk about how they're helping and how they're doing so much for this group of people and that group of people, but yet our homeless, which includes some of our veterans, never get mentioned. It's always the middle class. We got to have a strong, healthy middle class. And we know that the upper echelon of this financial building, they don't need any help because they're already rich. But the upper class, what about those people that are the lowest, on the lowest rung? Nobody speaks for them. So that's why I say immigration, that shouldn't even be on the table. Screw that. What should be talked about is how we can elevate our homeless people from where they are to where they should be. And speaking of transients, everybody that's out there that's a transient that may look nasty and dirty and come up to you begging for money or come up to you, they didn't start out that way. They were forced into it through some method or means. And since they were out there, well, what is it about mammals or animals? They acclimate to the situation that they're in. And some of them, yeah, they go nutsy cuckoo. They'll, sink to drugs or alcohol. Yeah, they are, pixelated. But we need to take care of that. Should we just let it grow and fester? No, but that's what politicians have done. They don't care. As long as it suits their purpose or make them look, be looked upon by the world with prestige, they don't care. To accept someone else in your country while your countrymen are going hungry and poor is ludicrous. To talk about accepting some refugees in and making sure that they're fed and that they're warm and that they're comfortable while our people are out on the streets is unconscionable. So if I were president, first thing I'd do when I got in office is close the borders. Close them. No more of anybody coming into this country. I would set out to the ones that are overseas that are American citizens, you better bring your asses home real quick, because I'm shutting the door and you won't be able to get in. Those illegal ones that are already here, okay, you're here. I'm not going to consider sending you back. I'm not going to waste another dime on you. What will happen is you will be gathered up and you'll be put in a place where we can observe you. You will learn our customs. You will learn our language. You will learn to be a citizen. You will be outfitted with a ankle device that will let us know where you are every minute of every day. You will be taken out on buses to work. And then you will be schooled when you come back home. At which time you become an American citizen, waving your little flag and holding up your little citizenship papers after you've done the coursework and methodology, and you go down and have your ceremony. The ankle bracelet comes off, you're out of the detention center, and you are an American citizen because you've earned it. But no more get in. That's as dead as a corpse. And to those people out there who are bleeding heart, liberal lunatics, you say, oh, but you need to help people. We have helped people forever and a dark day. That is some of the $20 trillion that we are in debt for. All of these that slither across the border and what have you, they don't have a dime to their names. Just the funky jeans that they're wearing or the funky dresses that they're wearing. And everything they get comes out of our damn pockets. No more. No more. My foreign policy would be this. Every country in this world has some form of government, some governmental muckety-muck, some leader. Some may be okay, some may be poor, some may be just jackleg assholes that don't belong in public office. But they have leaders. They have a system of government. They have a monetary system by which they delineate money to, or whatever kind of form of money they have, to their citizens. Okay, my response would be, whatever you need to do to make sure that your people are cool, that's what you do as your government that governs your people. That's the custodial keeper for your people. Sure, if you need some kind of help and you need some of our assistance in the way of supplies or medicine or food, we'll be happy to help you out. We're a benevolent country like that. But you stay where you are. You solve your own problems. We'll solve our own problems. And we got a hell of a lot of them to solve. Now, if some big thing happens, like this ISIS thing, yeah, we're going to spearhead it because it's in the vein of national security. Hey, who's coming with me, man? Who's coming with me? And those different countries who'd want to jump on the bandwagon and help to shoot the gun, throw the knife, kick the butt, cool. But we're not fighting any stupid wars that we shouldn't even be in the first place, and spending up all that money that could go for programs here at home, putting our troops in terrible danger just for somebody's crazy ideal. People are saying, and some of the political muckety-mucks are even saying, we should have never been in Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan. That was our government's stupid way of dealing with things. And a lot of our problems are because of this right here. Sticking it in other people's business. You don't do that. I don't care what it is. You don't do that. Your neighbor. Do you stick your nose in your neighbor's business? If you do, you might get it knocked off. Oh, I don't like the way you fix your eggs. We don't fry our eggs like that. We usually put a little milk and a little butter in ours, and you're putting lard in yours. That's their house, that's their kitchen, that's their damn skillet and their damn eggs. Whatever way they wish to fix them, that's their business. That's one of our problems. Democracy. We're trying to push that off on people. Push it down their throats. Push it down their throats when it doesn't necessarily 100% work for us. If it did, we wouldn't have almost 20 million on the streets. We wouldn't have a country with a $20 trillion deficit and a dumbass president who ends his speech saying the State of the Union is good. How in the hell can you have a good economy when you're $20 trillion in debt? That makes no sense to me. When jobs are closing because you're too greedy with taxes. Businesses are moving other places like China and republics of China and all this, and then you bring the goods back in and try to sell them with China taxing your ass up the yin-yang to do it. Government is too big and too stupid. And it's a very bad thing for us. Very bad thing. I wouldn't accept anything other than being here for American people. Our country, it's falling apart. Why? Because we're too busy trying to do something for somebody else that shouldn't even be here. If I were president, my people would come first. My land would come first. And always. There should be no immigration. Oh, well, we need to have a healthy, steady workforce. That's what the American people are for. Hello, you got a country full of them. Any job that's out there to be done, American people can do it. Our police officers, betwixt and between, we got some good ones out there. Boatloads of good ones out there. But we need to take care of these dirtbag, rogue, dirty cops and get them out of the mix so that our people can be safe and be protected by the good ones. Yeah, nobody's gonna trust you if you've been known to blow people away just because they have dark skin. But all of our officers aren't like that. The vast majority of our officers don't give a damn what color your skin is. They're there to protect and to serve. And if you do wrong, to kick your butt and put you in the jailhouse. We need to get rid of the bad ones. There's a blatant hatred of black folks in this country. There always has been. And to that I say black lives should matter, but they don't. How could they? When you're starting off life in a country as a slave, as somebody to be beaten and sold and kicked around like so much garbage, how can your life matter? That's the way you started out. And there are a lot of folks out there of the Caucasian persuasion, not all, but a lot of them that won't mind letting you know that you a nigger. Yeah, I said it. Because they feel it. I don't care how high you claim you have aspired to be, you will always be that boy to them. Until we find a way to eradicate that kind of garbage, we're going to always have a problem. We need to understand that these idiots that we send to office are not going to office to help us. They're going there to help themselves, to get more money, to get some prestige, and to do whatever they can to further their cause. Has government gotten too big? Hell yes, it has. City government, state government, federal government. And they don't give a damn about you or me. And that's more than evident in the way they treat us. They're chomping at the bit about raising the minimum wage to $15. That's not going to help us. I would do this. Small businesses that have from one employee to maybe 100, $15, that's probably the best you can do. But to these big muckety-muck corporations, you are going to start with a minimum wage of no less than $35 because you're making billions of dollars off the back of these workers that you don't want to pay. Things would change in this country if I were at the helm. And any bleeding heart, liberal, ludicrous lunatic that didn't like it, there is the door. Get the hell out, because there's a new sheriff in town. And this new sheriff is going to streamline this government, get the fat out, get all the pork bellies out, get all the hedge fund creeps out. Wall Street, your wall is going to come down because you need to work for the people, not for yourselves. And get out of your billion-dollar jets and your planes and your ships and yachts and all that kind of crap, being chauffeur-driven. Get your ass out there and ride the bus like the rest of the people. These big oil companies, you're going to change your way of doing things. In 1972, you go to McDonald's, you could get the top of the line burger for about 60, 70 cents. What has happened? You go to McDonald's now, and you don't spend any less. And I'm not talking about the little dollar menu. I'm talking about the regular stuff. You go and you get some burgers for your family. You're going to spend about 40, maybe 50 bucks. My brother went out yesterday to a well-renowned hot dog stand. He had $50 in his pocket. When he came back home, he had some change. And I'm talking about maybe 35, 40 cents. And what did he get in return? He got 4 chili dogs, 2 hamburgers, and 2 orders of onion rings. And you tell me that the State of the Union is in good shape, oh bastard? I know the time when you could take $50 to go to a hamburger joint and you'd almost need a truck to bring the stuff back. And why? Because you're too big and you don't care. Tax, tax, tax. The poor farmers, they can't grow things without tax, tax, tax. And why? Because it wants to be funded in your stupid programs. Crap that you've come up with that has no bearing on what we need as a people in this country. So you can fund your war games, to put this bunch of soldiers in this country so that you can watch what's going on in that country, or trying to take care of this country because we were at war with them so many years back. Screw that. Let these countries like Japan and Germany take care of their own shores, and the Philippines take care of their own shores. Bring our soldiers home to clean up our neighborhoods so that we don't have gangs running rampant. So that people can walk the damn streets in peace like they did in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the early 60s. That's what our military is for, to protect us at home. And any bastard that comes across that shore, blow his ass off. There would be a different form of government if I were president, because I would help it to be so. Gun control. Oh, bastard. You are an idiot, wanting to disarm America, even in the face of all of the crap that you bring over here to make us need guns to protect our families. Maybe your stupid idea of gun control would be more feasible if you didn't bring these terrorists over here to kill us. Maybe we would need a damn gun. Maybe your argument would be more feasible if you didn't allow all this influx of foreigners to come over here and steal from us and cause problems for us. So don't preach your stupid gun laws until you get your game tight and do your job as a president. Idiocy. The things that we watch on telly, the things that we see in movies. Yeah, I would create some new jobs because I would bring the Hayes office back to censor a lot of this crap that we have to be bothered with. Some of the stuff that they show on this boob tube and in the movies shouldn't be seen by anybody, let alone kids. And oh, well, there's a NC-17's on a restricted audience. Yeah, I've seen plenty of restricted audience movies and what have you. And who opens the door for you at the theater? The kids. So don't tell me about your stupid restrictions. Back in the day, we never saw a bunch of sexually oriented crap. Yes, Lucy Ricardo had a baby, but you didn't see Lucy and Ricky in there boinking each other. And we were a better society because of it. Yeah, we've always had westerns and cowpokes. You're shooting the bad guy and they had guns out. But there was at least a little rhyme or reason for it. Yeah, the cowboy shot the bad guy because he was a robber or he was a crook. He was a bandit. That's why he got shot. But not because somebody bumps into you in the subway and you pull out a gun and blow the person away. God! Government has gotten too big and they don't care about what happens to us. Think about it. What can we do about it? I really don't know, because the society is the way the society is. And it's gotten to be such a monster. And I'm holding a little monster. But the monster I speak of is huge. And it's gobbling up everything in its path. Think about a way to keep yourself safe. Think about a way to take care of yourself. Because if you're waiting for the government to do it, you're going to be waiting a very long time, because they don't care. They've shown it time and time again. The things that old bastard has done since he's been in office, soon to be 8 years, how much of it has benefited you? Yeah, he may have done a few little things that might be considered okay, but the vast majority of what he's done has been the degradation of this nation, not helping it much. And what's to say what the next one will do? We can only hope. Because see, they talk a good game when they're trying to get in there. They'll tell you something so grandiose that you'll just, oh, I want this guy or this one to be president, so much so. And then when they get their butts in office, you're left wondering, hey, what about this you said you were going to do? Or what about that you said you were going to do? And they may look at you and say, what are you talking about? I never said that. So we can only hope that somebody might get into office that might do something good. But that in of itself is a misnomer, because unless they clean the house, get rid of that old Senate, get rid of that old Congress, get rid of that old Supreme Court, you're still dealing with the same old isms. The Respublicans, oh, well, my plan is better than your plan. The Democrats, no, it isn't. My plan is better than your plan. They can't come together. They don't have a meeting of the minds because they're too damn bullheaded. You don't think about what's good for the Respublicans or what's good for the Democrats. You think about what's good for the people. That's the way it used to be when George Washington was there. When the United States just consisted of New England. It was small. It was controllable. It may have been maybe a tiny baby monster. But as the United States began to fill up and become more of the United States that we know today, it's gotten too big. And so has the monster. And we're left wanting. Think about it. As for the monster, all I can say is, die, monster, die. We thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Phil Taylor Jones Show. Stay safe and keep well. Bye-bye.